There are certainly a lot of sequences in this film where the surreal does happen, and it's happening on a physical level, and it's not, ironically, those things aren't most of the time done in green screen. There was very little green screen on this movie. I mean, when a scene had to be tilted because in another state of reality there was some sort of gravity shift, he would put the entire set on hydraulics and shift that entire bar. Killian and I had to do an entire sequence where I'm trying to reassure him that I'm his sort of protector within this dream state, and it was a long monologue sequences, and the entire set would be shifting and things would be kind of flying by us, and we had to hold on to the actual set so it didn't slide off. At times it is challenging, but you react to it in a physical way that you normally wouldn't if it was a green screen behind you and a camera tilt. I suppose my character's level of expertise in the film is keeping that central focus in a world of chaos, and obviously it's a very specific type of a specific set of skills. I mean, he works in the sort of as a criminal in an underground sort of black market of individuals that are able to infiltrate people's minds and extract information, or in this case, Inception, incept an idea or a thought or a way of life or a new way of looking at their real life, and have it alter the course of the real world. And that's what this job is for this group of people. I have to also simultaneously explain the whole concept of the dream world to Ariadne. I have to tell her the rules. I have to talk about the concepts of what can be done, what can't be done, the possibilities, give her the warning signs. But I'm essentially, using her. But she comes right back at me with this intense amount of caring and this inquisitive curiosity to see somebody, ultimately come to terms with who they are. You feel grounded, you feel like you understand the rules, you're watching it, happen before your very eyes, but you also are in a constant state of suspense because you never really know what's going to happen next. You never know, your ultimate realization is that that these characters have to come to terms with something, and that's the main motivation. But what happens along the way and how that unravels is it's what the imagination is. Anything can happen, so your mind is constantly firing watching this movie. It's quite an experience. Chris wants to look at them. He wants to feel like these characters can move around in them. So, all of us as actors were constantly intrigued as to what we would see when we drove up on set, because we'd go off into some distant location and there would be this massive structure, or we'd drive in the middle of Paris or Morocco and there would be an entire set decorated to sort of match his vision. So it was a constant state of surprise for all of us. Well, there was a lot of situations throughout the entire course of the film, whether we were all wrapped up in cables, floating through an elevator shaft, or whether we were, being soaked by a massive water tank that was blasting around us, or, whether the streets of Paris were disintegrating before our very eyes. What was amazing to witness was how they made it all seem like it was a day's work. I mean, that team of Chris and Emma, they're so highly organized and so efficient, and have conveyed exactly what they want to everyone involved in the movie making process, that these spectacular events happen and then you go to lunch. It was kind of all in a day's work, and then you move on to something else after lunch. Sequences that you were like, well, how the hell is this going to be pulled off? they've managed to organize it in a way that makes it seem like the norm for them. I got to work with an extremely talented director, and for that matter, an unbelievable sort of ensemble cast, and so many different unique talents in this movie that put together the giant jigsaw puzzle of what Inception was, and all the conversations that we all had about our individual characters, and how to bring, a multitude of layers to our characters' relationships and our emotional journeys amidst this giant canvas of the dream world.